Mars has long been the subject of fascination, a planet that once seemed too distant, too alien for humans to ever hope to understand. However, recent discoveries have unveiled shocking secrets about the red planet, many of which suggest that Mars may not be as desolate and lifeless as we once believed. A groundbreaking new study has revealed the presence of vast underground reserves of water on Mars, challenging everything we thought we knew about its past and future. For years, scientists have wondered about the fate of Mars' ancient seas and lakes, and now, thanks to seismic data from NASA's InSight mission, there's new evidence that Mars may have a hidden water supply that could potentially support future human life. This discovery opens up new possibilities not only for space exploration but also for understanding the history of life beyond Earth. Mars has always been seen as a dry, barren planet, a dusty red wasteland with a cold, inhospitable atmosphere. But the key to understanding Mars' true nature lies in its past. The planet wasn't always like this. Billions of years ago, Mars had rivers, lakes, and even seas that may have been capable of supporting life. Scientists have known for some time that Mars once had liquid water on its surface, but the big question has always been, what happened to it? The most widely accepted theory was that the water evaporated into space, carried away by the solar wind after Mars lost its magnetic field and its thick atmosphere. Without the protection of a strong magnetic shield, the solar wind stripped away the planet's atmosphere, taking with it most of the water that once flowed freely across the surface. But this theory has always had its flaws, mainly because the amount of water that could have been lost to space through this process seems too small to account for the vast bodies of water that are believed to have once existed on Mars. What if, instead of being lost to space, much of Mars' water was still there, just buried deep beneath the surface? This idea, once purely speculative, has gained a great deal of traction in recent years, and new evidence has begun to support it. In a study led by Dr. Vashan Wright from the University of California, San Diego, a team of researchers set out to explore this hypothesis. They analyzed seismic data collected by NASA's InSight lander, which had been on Mars since 2018, studying the planet's interior. InSight's seismometers had already provided crucial information about the structure of Mars' crust, and the results suggested something remarkable. Beneath the planet's surface, at depths of around 11.5 to 20 kilometers, there may be vast pockets of liquid water trapped within the planet's crust. This discovery doesn't just add a new layer to our understanding of Mars' history, but it also raises important questions about the planet's future, especially when it comes to the possibility of human colonization. To understand how scientists reached this conclusion, it's essential to understand a bit about the science behind it. Mars is a cold planet, with an average surface temperature of around -68 degrees Celsius. But despite these freezing temperatures, conditions below the surface may be more favorable for liquid water. The crust of Mars is thought to be filled with a network of tiny pores and cracks that could trap water, creating underground reservoirs that might still contain liquid. The study led by Dr. Wright and his team combined seismic data from InSight with a mathematical model of rock physics, a technique that scientists on Earth use to find groundwater or oil reserves. The results of the study showed that the Martian crust is not a lifeless, dry expanse as previously thought, but instead is pervaded by cracks and fissures that could be filled with water. These findings are astonishing because they suggest that Mars may still have vast stores of water locked away beneath its surface, possibly enough to form an ocean that could cover the entire planet to a depth of 1 or 2 kilometers. What does this mean for the future of Mars exploration and colonization? For one thing, it raises the possibility that astronauts could eventually tap into these underground water reserves. While current drilling technology can't reach these depths, the very existence of such a massive water supply suggests that Mars may have the resources necessary to support human life in the future. In the long term, it could provide astronauts with access to water for drinking, growing food, and producing oxygen. But the implications go far beyond just human survival. The discovery of liquid water on Mars opens up exciting new possibilities for understanding the planet's past, and possibly even its potential for harboring life. Scientists have long wondered whether life could have ever existed on Mars. The presence of liquid water is a critical factor in the development of life as we know it, and the discovery of water trapped in the Martian crust raises the tantalizing possibility that Mars may have once supported microbial life, or even still could today. In fact, some scientists believe that Mars may have hosted life in the distant past, when its surface was warmer and wetter. While there is no definitive evidence of past or present life on Mars, the underground water reservoirs could provide a fertile environment for microbial life to exist, protected from the harsh conditions on the surface. The discovery of liquid water in Mars' crust also helps explain some of the planet's more puzzling features. For example, the mysterious presence of certain minerals and chemicals on Mars, such as the phosphates and iron oxides found in rocks, may be the result of biological processes. These chemicals are often associated with microbial life on Earth, and their presence on Mars raises the possibility that life could have once existed there. In 2021, NASA's Perseverance rover made a surprising discovery when it found a rock near an area called Jezero Crater, which once hosted a lake, that contained strange markings on its surface. These markings appeared to be chemical residues left behind by biological processes, possibly from ancient microorganisms. Spectrometer readings of the rock revealed traces of organic compounds, including carbon, as well as iron and phosphates, all elements that are crucial for life. While these discoveries don't prove that life existed on Mars, they do suggest that the planet may have had the right conditions for life to thrive in its distant past. Even more exciting, scientists have found that Earth has a number of organisms capable of surviving in extreme environments similar to those on Mars. On Earth, there are organisms known as extremophiles that thrive in conditions of extreme cold, darkness, and high pressure. Some of these organisms live deep beneath the Earth's surface, in environments where sunlight and oxygen are scarce. These life forms rely on chemical reactions for energy, much like what we might expect from life on Mars. For example, in Antarctica, scientists have discovered sponge-like organisms living deep under the ice sheet, where they are cut off from the sun and any obvious food source. These organisms survive by utilizing chemicals in the environment, similar to the way life might survive in Mars' underground water reservoirs. If Earthbound life can survive in such extreme conditions, it's not hard to imagine that life on Mars could have once existed, or could still be hiding out in the planet's depths. The search for life on Mars is a long and ongoing quest, and while we may not have definitive proof yet, each new discovery brings us closer to answering one of humanity's most fundamental questions. Are we alone in the universe? The underground water reservoirs on Mars may not only hold the key to understanding the planet's past, but could also provide a glimpse into the potential for life on other planets. And as we learn more about Mars, the question of whether life exists elsewhere in the cosmos becomes even more pressing. Could Mars, in its distant past, have been a cradle for life? Or perhaps life still persists beneath its surface, waiting to be discovered by future missions? The discovery of a hidden underground water supply on Mars opens up thrilling new possibilities, both for scientific exploration and for the potential future of human settlement on Mars. While we may not be able to access these water reserves just yet, the discovery suggests that Mars may not be the lifeless desert planet we once thought it to be. It could be a world that, in the past, hosted life, and might still be capable of supporting it today. For space agencies like NASA, the European Space Agency, and private organizations like SpaceX, this new finding is an exciting step forward in our quest to explore Mars and understand its secrets. As technology improves and missions continue, we may one day be able to drill deep enough to access this water, allowing us to learn even more about the planet's hidden past and its potential for the future. Perhaps one day, humans will not only walk on Mars but live there, tapping into its underground water supply, growing crops, and making Mars their home. For now, though, we're left with a tantalizing mystery, one that may take years, if not decades, to fully unravel. The discovery of underground water on Mars has opened a new chapter in the story of our exploration of the Red Planet. Whether it's unlocking the secrets of Mars' past or giving us hope for the future of human life on Mars, one thing is clear: the search for life, both past and present, is far from over. Each new finding brings us one step closer to understanding this enigmatic planet and what it can teach us about the possibility of life beyond Earth.